Morning, Army. It's Heidi Allen from the Positive People Army, your founder, of course. I hope you're all well. It's a Wednesday. It's so early in the morning. I actually am watching the sunset come up right now. It's just kind of peeking up behind me, and it's kind of amazing. So I wanted to talk to everybody today because as I wrote, when destiny knocks on your door, sometimes it's not as easy as you think to open it, but it's definitely worth it. And with the Army growing as fast as it is right now, and it's just the most incredible thing I've ever experienced in my life, I've had a lot of people ask me, especially because we are moving forward and we are starting to build this Army pretty quickly. I've had so many people ask me, why did you actually start the Positive People Army and where did it come from? And I know for myself that the Army is, it's 100% my destiny, and I think it's actually a lot of other people's destiny, which is pretty spectacular when you think about that. But for me, I'm gonna tell you exactly where this came from. So since the moment I could start talking, I drove my family crazy, but I've always known that I was supposed to make a huge difference in this world, but I had no idea how I was supposed to do that. I didn't know what that meant. And so I chased for a very, very long time. I chased what I thought that was. And I went from one career to another, not job. I went from one career to another, and every single career, every single thing that I did taught me some pretty incredible lessons, and I've talked about many of them here in the Army with you. And so I just kept chasing, and every single time I would get so successful in what I was doing, that feeling would percolate again, and that feeling would be, this isn't it, Heidi. This isn't it. Keep going. And most of the time I had no idea what that keep going was, but I always knew what my next step was going to be. I always knew, okay, I see that's the thing I'm supposed to do next. I think that's how I'm going to make a difference. I think this is it now. And so time and time again, I got into that position. And in my current role that I'm in right now, that happened about 2 years ago. That feeling started again. And so when that feeling popped up, because of course I work at the Marilyn Dennis Show, and I am making a huge difference in people's lives. I'm making a difference doing makeovers on people, which is pretty amazing. It's an amazing position to be in, to help people like that. But all of a sudden I knew that it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So I had to figure out what was going to be enough. So for me, I'm not gonna lie, I decided I was gonna go work at the Oprah Winfrey Show. That was gonna be my next thing I was gonna do. She's making a difference, I'm gonna go help her make a difference. So I wrote 2 years ago the most incredible cover letter you could ever imagine, because I was told to get Oprah's attention, you gotta write this incredible cover letter. And so I wrote it, and I printed it off, and for the very first time in my life, Army, I hesitated. And I've never, ever hesitated before. I hesitated, and I knew I had to ask myself 2 questions. And it was very hard for me to ask myself those questions because I didn't know what was going to happen after I answered them. So the first question was, could I get the job? Well, hell yeah. Anything I'd ever put my mind to, I'd done. That wasn't it. The next question I asked was, do I want the job? And I didn't. I didn't want the job. And that moment in my life, that hesitation, that realization was, if that's not what I'm supposed to do, then what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I know I'm supposed to make this difference, but what does that mean? So that hesitation and that question spiraled me into a depression for about 6 months. And that was one of the hardest things I've gone through, because I'd always had the answers and now I didn't know. And then, you know, I always talk to you guys about everything happens for a reason. Well, 2 years prior to that moment, my husband and I had been out, and we go to this jazz bar downtown Toronto that we love on Saturday afternoons, not all the time, but every once in a while, and there's a manager that works there, and his name is Musad. And for some reason, while we were out this 2 years prior, he had told us that the date of his birthday, and we were talking about it. And my husband put it in his calendar. Why? Like, even to this day, I'm like, it just blows my mind that he put this person's birthday in his calendar. So now, flash forward to, I'm in the middle of my breakdown, and Mike, who is just so incredibly lovely, said to me, you know what? Musad's birthday just popped up in my calendar. And I said, why do you have his birthday in your calendar? And he's like, 2 years ago, he just mentioned it. I don't know why I put it there. But you know what? You need to feel a little better. Why don't we go out and listen to some jazz? So we went out for the afternoon and we listened to the jazz. And the set, everything ended. And Musad said to us, would you guys like your bill? Because he always remembered us. Such an incredibly lovely man. And I said, you know what, Musad? We don't want our bill right now. We actually would like to buy you a drink. And he said to me, why would you like to buy me a drink? And I said, it is your birthday today, and we want to wish you happy birthday. What I saw happen in front of me next was probably one of the most incredible moments I've ever known. He turned into this beautiful, happy, joyous, grateful person. It was a moment, it was a connection, it was an exchange. And that moment, I was sitting there and I said to my husband, do you feel this? Do you feel this moment right here? And he said to me, yes. I said, this is what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. This moment, this feeling, this connection, this helping and supporting people. And so, from that moment forward, from Musad, I, with the help of a very dear friend named Madeline, decided to make an appointment with myself every single Wednesday. And I sat and I tried to figure out what I was supposed to do with the rest of my life. And what ended up coming out of that week after week after week of trying to figure it out was the Positive People Army. And when I started it, I had no idea why I was starting it. I didn't know what it was. Honestly, Army, I didn't. I wish I could say I had all the answers, but I didn't. I just started something and I started writing and I started sharing, and then all of you started coming. And some of you have written on the blog, and that's amazing. And then I celebrated 1 year with the blog, which was such an incredible success for myself and so many other people that had written on that blog. And then a friend said to me, Heidi, I said, I'm trying to find a place where I feel like the Army needs to talk to each other. I feel like they need to connect, like I'm connecting with everyone. And so this past January, I started the Positive People Army Facebook group. And within 24 hours, 1,200 of you were there. And now we're almost at 12,000. So sorry, guys. So here we are. This is why it started. This is where it came from. And now you're all here. And when destiny knocked, it was a journey to get here. And now my destiny's knocking again. And it's time for me to make the decision to put all of you first and no one else. So I always say, together we're going to make a difference. And I'm determined that we will. So, Army, if you are sitting there listening and you hear your destiny knocking, I need you to know that we're all here for you. I'll be here for you. So, join me and let's make a difference in the world. Thank you all for listening. Have a great day.